Before I begin, I have to make a change, and I have no choice in remarks to somebody from Truth and Revelations, unless it was another site, I'm not quite sure. But if I don't change, then I will be forced to change in a way I do not like. The change I'm talking about not only starts in this book, the Kabbalah. It doesn't only start on page 189, which was my first page to go into. I'm going to show you what it's like, okay? And because I hit the numbers on the first page on something that was very important to me, I must make a change. What do I have to do? Well, basically, whatever I do has to change. The do must be different. Well, I must have made a mistake. I thought it was 191, but it's not. Maybe it's 291. The pages are so thin, it seems like there's 1,000 pages, and it's not. So I've lost a page. Anyways, what it was the chakras. And there was a dot and a point and a line in many places, and I figured it all out. Once I figured that out, I said, this is way too easy. There's something wrong. I'm all alone. How can I know if I'm right or not? I'm right-teen, but I'm not doing anything, and I'm no king at all. So what do? I have to follow the flow of the understanding of what. And the what is it. The it is the information, the flow of your information. Now, if you had to get something, where would you go? The best place is to the opposition of who you are. You see, if we are on Earth, okay, then the trail of the mind is between 6 and 4. Mars and Saturn. Since Mars is an empty can and Saturn, S and T, spirit time, first, test, best, and last, it'll always be around for everybody. Mars is empty. Your toilet has been flushed. You flush the toilet and I can't find the lighter. I broke up this whole thing for one lighter. Oh, here it is. So you have the toilet behind you. The toilet is a reserve. You face the toilet. If you're standing on Saturn, you can turn and face Mars. Otherwise, you're facing out. 2, 4, 6, 8 goes around, comes around. Whatever you think is done. I must eat, but I must eat carefully. What must I do when I eat? I'm not sure yet. I'm quite sure I'm going to get the message of what I should do. I already know I have to regulate and understand my salts, my sweets, and everything else. I can't go after the desire. I have to go after the needs. If I block up my intestines and my veins and my blood changes, the portal in my mind, the Suez Canal, will not work. In order for me to be happy, I must continue having the energy and the flow and the knowledge of the information to decipher so that all can know. They can know what I know if they please to know. I'm happy to be able to enter into this realm, if there's a realm at all, or am I just creating it within my mind? Well, we'll see in time. It is 7 years, and I'm only on this about 2 years in which I'm making videos in which it really started hard. So if I gamble in life, I better take them and make sure what kind of gamble I take. If we go to the racetrack, we watch the horses, we pray that they win. You want them to win. It blocks the mind, it shuts the mind. And then for the mind to come back, it's got to go a full cycle of 360 degrees before it gets to Mars and comes out of Mars. But while it's going into Mars and out of Mars, just like your toilet when you flush, all the water just doesn't flush out. It goes down and around and around and around. So once you break part of the information flow, it stops flowing the right way. That is one of the reasons we have 1 and 1 is 2 that sometimes brings on 3. 2 up and 1 down. The letter M, 2 down and 1 up. The letter W. I did a little thing and I wasn't going to do this because I wasn't sure if I was ready. But if you take out the dice, you got 4 up and 3 down. You've got 1. If you take the 6 dice, you got 6 up and 1 down. You got 5. And that's the choice the good old Lord took with us. He went 6 up and 1 down, and we became that 1 down, and he became 5 as we reduced from 6 to 5. Because when you go to the center of anything, there's usually a 1 dot but the center is 5, you have 6. But if you put God up top at 6 and man down as 1, God goes back to 1 and the center is 5 again. That's why there's a 5 on your telephone and not 6. Because between 1 and 7, 2 and 8, 3 and 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they all create 6s. When you go all around and you have a cube with 1 up and 1 down, you have 4 sides. Each side has a face of 9. 4 by 9 is the 36. The 2 other sides are 9 and 9 of 18. They're opposites. The 9 birth of the 9 birth that connects dead center. The entrance of all, the 14th place. They said it on Sesame Street, same street. Whatever song you have heard or sang, whatever ride you have made, whatever gang you have joined, the sense of all, the sense of the matter, any sense at all, the 1 cent. Without the 1 cent, Roman numerals would fall apart. You'd actually start everything at 5. Without the 5 cent, you're starting at 10. And without the 10 cent, you're starting at 25. And after that, it's 6 down and 1 up, because you've made it to heaven. Raphael, 7286. I do take this lightly and as a joke, because it's all a joke. God makes me laugh. If it's the higher man upstairs and his name is God, I take off the D for the division and I say go. If I take off the G and I say he's God, the only God, he'd take off the G and he'd be odd. He'd be the odd God. But he made it all even when he called us all 7, and Stephen, and 11, and 12. He created the teens, and he created the TH, 14th. But in 14th, there is a teen, and there is a TH. The TH is 28, and the teen is 44. 44 and 28 makes 72 of the 2 worlds of 7 and 2. 2 of 7 is 14. It creates the passage of the pig. How does the pig become to number 38 if he's only at 14? Well, you have to go around. It is time heaven. So you take the 14 of the pass and the 24 of X God, the X pass with the X God of 24 to 24th letter and the X in the Roman numerals. It creates the 38 for the pig. But now if you take 10 Roman numeral X instead of 24 in the alphabet, you get 10 in the pig, which is a circle, you get 100. And it's now time for the entrance in. We are in, we are all in, for whoever hears us is in. And all those who hear me that cannot enter, that are not in, will come to visit us soon, because they haven't gone far away. If you think you've been up all your life, so have they. We do not live alone, we never have, we never will. This is just an element of creation, for love and war, the raw of time. 2012 equals to 32. 3 and 2 is the actual passing. You start at 5, at 32, go around the alphabet once, you end up at 5. It becomes a double E. It reconnects the 2 sides. It reconnects God starting at -5 and +5. We all meet on Reading Railroad. In the Spanish train, the Lord sings, and he loses to 4 aces because the devil slipped another ace. Of course he slipped another ace. Where was he hiding it? Up his ass? Of course. He has 4 asses, 4 donkeys, and 4 aces. The 4 aces are nothing and no good alone, because it's the planet Jupiter. It's the coming in and the going out. Jupiter gets 4 aces. Earth only gets 2. Mars gets 2. There's a total of 8, because Jupiter had to make up for the 2 and 2 to make up time. We now have 2 decks, but Jupiter does not have a deck to play with. We have 52 cards and 2 jokers, 1 for each. How many jokers do we need to cut the corners? Each corner takes up 4 places. That means we need an extra 2 jokers on each place. We need 8 jokers. We need 4 decks. We take 4 decks, we have 208 cards. If we add in the cards that are used for the explanation, or the jokers, we end up with, we did that, 54, and 54 is 108. 108 and 108 is 216. 216 hours. 9 days at 16 hours awake. 144. 9 days of 8 hours of sleep. 72. 216. In order, we read it as 6 days of the week for man, 1 day for God on Saturday, and 3 days leading up to the miracle day of Wednesday, where the railroad takes us another way. From Reading all the way up to Pennsylvania, that's the L and the wing we take. The other wing we take is when God starts -5 and +5 on Reading, and he goes back to short line, and short line runs at an L angle. And it runs over to B&O 215-512 MB, memory of man. Have we gone to love and tennis? 00, 2 eyes, 2 eggs. 1515 is A&E and A&E. 30 and 30 is the creation and the creation. 40-40, we call it deuce. It's no more love. The only time you get love is 15 and 30. In simple count, it's 45. The counting of one face. 1 to 9 is 45. 5 and 4 is 9. 5 by 4 is 20. 20 brings on the birth of the secondary world. It creates the word of it. It is number 29. In the 2 world, we have the birth. There are 2 worlds. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 by 9 is 36. But we do not recreate the 9. We just go 9, 9, 9, 9. It's easier to say, because then we're finalizing and finishing off an equation. If you need 40 cents, do not take 4 dimes, because you only have 10 cents to work with. Break it up so you don't have to take the chance that you're short a cent, because once you're short a cent, you were never sent at all, and you have no sense at all, and we're not sensible at all. We have arrived at the station, and this is the time. 2012 is the calling. What they are calling, I have absolutely no idea, but I am blessed. For the dam she runs, she is held back. I have learned how to control the door. Instead of her opening up on a hinge on top, I now lift her straight up. I open the gates of the canal, and I let the information flow. So when I flush the toilet and the new water comes in, the new information comes in. So if I eat too much and if I eat too fast and I do so many things that are wrong, the blood is going to be telling different information rather than going up to my mind and getting what is my mind's is my business. And now is my business is all of yours. Because if I do not share, that means I do not care. And the wall will close, the dam will close, the beaver will leave. He will not dig me another place. He will not block up one more dam. But the beaver is L, the L is the angle, it is the bow, and it goes on and on. Don't you know, it all rhymes. It's all just a big old song. So I'm going to stop right here. And no, I'm not going to rhyme this and have a beer. I'll just make it all clear. Thank you. Raphael, 7286. I just made a little tiny error I did not like in the other video, which was I talked about the Jew, the Jew, the Jew. What happened, okay, is we all have our own gods in mind. I believe we're a multitude of people that came here from different sectors of Urantia in order to put pressure on the good so it understands not to do what is evil. Thus we must enter different races, and the race has begun. The devil stole the 4 aces, but that's okay, because God, or whoever was playing the game, pulled the 8 of diamonds. And when you got 8 diamonds, you connect to 2 and 4 and 2, and all your 8 aces and all your 6 jokers are connected together again. Well, why not 8 jokers? You can't have 8 jokers. What about Jupiter? Jupiter has to have jokers to play your jokers. We're not talking about Jupiter. We get 8 and 6. Jupiter is the 8. Saturn would be 1. Mars would be the other. That is your triangle. That is our life. 1 triangle up, 1 triangle down. Depending on the dimensions and the angles, they will turn into a square. It will turn into a Y if you're putting it down with a hook. If you put the 2 together from under and over, it turns into a square with 2 tails, 1 to the left and 1 to the right. If you make the outline without making a figure 8, you end up with an S. When you create the 2 S's, you now create the 8. If you slice the 8 down the center like a split in bowling, you end up with 2 B's. And you are to be, and we are, one day to be 6 down and 2 up, because we are in the 2 world. So when you get buried and they say 6 down and 2 up, it means because you and he who faces you in the mirror are both up. We end up with 4, which creates the 4 corners of life. We only need 3 with the 1 spirit center. We now have 3 creation with the 1 God, and no longer run with a bar between our legs that holds the V of life apart. which is the ace, and that's the ace we all run with, and that's the way the bridge and dam works. It's all in the ass, and you flush it down the toilet. It goes down to the rats, in letters as stars, from sewage to bell to hell to up in the satellite sky, where the moon rises high, but we do not understand, because we play only with one die. We only have 6. We add up to 7 and we know no more. So the heaven above and the birth we do not remember. And now we're in life. Thank you.